In a quiet little village nestled between rolling hills and endless fields, life moved at its own unhurried pace. But for 19-year-old Maya, the rhythm of her days was anything but peaceful. She carried not just dreams in her heart but also the weight of an unexpected pregnancy, a secret she tried so hard to hide from prying eyes. Today, however, there was no hiding. Dressed in her best clothes, borrowed shoes pinching her feet, and clutching a folder filled with hope, Maya stepped into the bustling city for the first time. Her destination, a corporate office where she hoped to land a job as an assistant. Little did she know that this day would change everything: her future, her identity, and even the cold-hearted CEO who sat behind the polished mahogany desk waiting to dismiss her. The air inside the towering glass building felt heavy, almost suffocating, as Maya nervously made her way through the maze of cubicles toward the interview room. The whispers around her didn't go unnoticed: comments about how out of place she looked, murmurs questioning why someone like her had been called for such a prestigious position. Maya swallowed her fear and clung to the belief that maybe, just maybe, this could be her chance to escape the judgmental stares of her village and build a better life for herself and her unborn child. As she entered the conference room, all eyes turned to her. And then it happened, the moment she dreaded most. When asked directly by the stern HR manager if she was pregnant, Maya hesitated only for a second before nodding yes. That single admission sealed her fate. Without another word, she was told to leave immediately. Humiliated, tears streaming down her face, Maya stumbled out of the office, feeling more alone than ever. But fate has a strange way of weaving stories together. Unbeknownst to Maya, the man who had been observing the entire scene from afar wasn't indifferent after all. Arjun Khanna, the enigmatic CEO of Khanna Enterprises, watched silently as the young woman walked out, shoulders slumped under the weight of rejection. Something about her caught his attention. Perhaps it was the quiet dignity in her posture, despite the obvious pain, or the flicker of determination in her eyes when she answered truthfully. Arjun wasn't known for being kind or compassionate. He was a self-made billionaire whose icy demeanor earned him both respect and fear in equal measure. Yet something stirred within him that day, a feeling he couldn't quite name but couldn't ignore either. As weeks passed, Maya returned to her village, defeated yet unwilling to give up entirely. She took on odd jobs, working tirelessly to save money while facing constant criticism from those around her. Meanwhile, in the city, Arjun found himself unable to shake off thoughts of the girl he'd seen that day. He started asking questions, discreetly gathering information about her. What drove her to pursue a career despite her circumstances? Who was she really? Each detail he uncovered intrigued him further, painting a picture of resilience and strength that stood in stark contrast to the polished but empty lives of the people around him. It wasn't long before curiosity turned into action. One evening, as Maya sat stitching embroidery under dim lamplight, a sleek black car pulled up outside her modest home. Out stepped none other than Arjun Khanna himself, dressed impeccably and exuding authority. His sudden appearance left everyone, including Maya, speechless. Arjun's arrival created ripples throughout the village, sparking gossip and speculation. Some whispered that he had come to offer charity. Others believed he wanted to exploit Maya's situation for some unknown gain. But neither assumption came close to the truth. Standing face to face with Maya, Arjun surprised even himself when he proposed something extraordinary. He wanted her to work for him, not as an assistant, but as his personal aide. The offer seemed too good to be true, especially given their last encounter. Maya hesitated, torn between gratitude and suspicion. Why would someone like Arjun Khanna, who lived in a world far removed from hers, extend such an opportunity? Was this kindness genuine, or was there a hidden agenda lurking beneath his polished words? What followed was a whirlwind of emotions and decisions that neither of them anticipated. Maya accepted the offer, driven by desperation and a glimmer of hope that perhaps life still held possibilities beyond what she imagined. For Arjun, bringing Maya into his world marked the beginning of a transformation he hadn't foreseen. Their interactions were charged with tension, sometimes awkward, sometimes confrontational, but always layered with unspoken understanding. Slowly, Maya began to see glimpses of humanity behind Arjun's steely exterior, while he found himself drawn to her unwavering spirit and honesty. In a world where relationships were often transactional, this developed into something deeper, more complex. Yet, challenges loomed large on the horizon. Society's judgmental gaze followed them everywhere, casting doubt on their intentions and motives. Back in the village, tongues wagged relentlessly, accusing Maya of using her condition to manipulate a wealthy man. Meanwhile, in the corporate circles Arjun frequented, whispers spread about his unusual interest in a village girl. Both were forced to navigate these storms, testing not only their resolve but also the fragile connection growing between them just when it seemed they might find some semblance of peace. A revelation threatened to shatter everything they had built together. And here lies the crux of our story. Two individuals from vastly different worlds brought together by circumstance, bound by secrets, and challenged by choices that will redefine their lives forever. Will Arjun's growing affection for Maya overcome the barriers erected by society and his own guarded heart? Can Maya trust that this powerful man truly sees her for who she is and not merely as a symbol of his fleeting compassion? Or will the pressures surrounding them tear apart the fragile bond they've forged? As you watch this tale unfold, prepare to dive deep into themes of love, redemption, and the courage it takes to defy expectations. You'll witness moments of vulnerability, acts of bravery, and the undeniable pull of fate drawing two souls closer despite the odds stacked against them. This isn't just a story about a pregnant village girl and a cold CEO, it's a journey of self-discovery, resilience, and the transformative power of human connection. So stay tuned, because what happens next will leave you yearning for more. Maya's first few days in the city working for Arjun were a blur of unfamiliar sights, sounds, and emotions. The sprawling mansion he lived in was nothing like her small village home. Grand chandeliers hung from high ceilings, marble floors gleamed under soft lighting, and every corner seemed to whisper luxury. Yet, despite the opulence, Maya felt more out of place than ever. She struggled to adapt to the rigid routines set by Arjun's staff, who eyed her with suspicion and disdain. Whispers followed her everywhere she went, questioning why someone like her had been given such an opportunity. Some even speculated that Arjun's decision stemmed from guilt rather than genuine intent. These doubts gnawed at Maya, but she reminded herself daily why she was there for her child's future. Arjun, on the other hand, found himself increasingly drawn to Maya's quiet strength. Unlike the polished professionals and socialites he usually interacted with, Maya didn't try to impress him or cater to his ego. Her honesty was refreshing, even if it sometimes came across as blunt. One evening, after a particularly long day, Arjun overheard Maya speaking softly on the phone to her mother back in the village. Her voice trembled as she reassured her mother that everything would be all right, though her words carried a weight of uncertainty. That moment stayed with Arjun. It struck a chord deep within him, reminding him of his own struggles growing up without privilege or support. For the first time in years, he felt something stir inside him that wasn't ambition or anger, it was empathy. As weeks turned into months, their dynamic began to shift subtly. Arjun started assigning Maya tasks beyond her initial role, testing her limits and discovering hidden talents she didn't know she possessed. From managing schedules to handling delicate client interactions, Maya proved herself capable time and again, but with each step forward, new challenges emerged. Arjun's business rivals caught wind of his unusual arrangement and used it as ammunition against him, spreading rumors about favoritism and unprofessional behavior. Meanwhile, Maya faced constant scrutiny from both Arjun's employees and her own family. Her father, once proud of her determination, now accused her of tarnishing their family name by associating with a man of Arjun's stature. Torn between loyalty to her roots and her desire for a better life, Maya often wondered if she'd made the right choice. The tension reached its peak when a prominent journalist published an expose targeting Arjun's company. The article painted him as reckless and irresponsible, citing Maya's presence in his household as evidence of poor judgment. Overnight, public opinion turned against them. Social media erupted with hashtags condemning their relationship, while tabloids plastered sensational headlines across news. Arjun handled the backlash stoically, refusing to dignify the accusations with a response. But behind closed doors, the strain showed. Late one night, as they sat together in his study, Maya finally broke down. "Is this my fault?" she asked, tears streaming down her face. "Did I ruin your reputation because you tried to help me?" Arjun's answer surprised even himself. "No," he said firmly, looking straight into her eyes. "This isn't your fault. If anything, you've shown me what truly matters." His words lingered in the air, heavy with meaning. Neither of them spoke about what came next, but the unspoken understanding between them grew stronger. Slowly, they began leaning on each other, not just professionally, but emotionally. Arjun opened up about his lonely childhood and the sacrifices he made to build his empire, while Maya shared her fears and dreams, revealing parts of herself she'd never shown anyone before. Their bond deepened, becoming something neither could ignore. But just as things seemed to stabilize, another bombshell hit. A former employee of Arjun's company came forward with allegations of misconduct, claiming that Arjun had coerced her into silence years ago. Though unfounded, the accusation reignited the media frenzy, painting Arjun as a manipulative creditor. This time, however, Maya refused to stand aside. Determined to clear his name, she took matters into her own hands, reaching out to people who knew Arjun personally and gathering testimonials to prove his innocence. Her efforts weren't without risk. She faced threats and intimidation from those trying to protect their own interests, but she persisted, driven by a newfound sense of purpose. Their journey wasn't without moments of doubt and conflict. There were nights when Arjun questioned whether involving Maya in his battles was fair, given her already fragile position. And there were times when Maya wondered if she was fighting for the right reasons, or simply clinging to the hope that Arjun might see her as more than just an assistant. Yet, through it all, they continued to rely on each other, their connection growing stronger with each challenge they faced together. The climax approached swiftly, culminating in a pivotal board meeting where Arjun's leadership and reputation hung in the balance. Armed with evidence gathered by Maya, he prepared to confront his accusers head-on. As he stood before the board members, his voice steady and resolute, Maya watched from the sidelines, her heart pounding with anticipation. Would the truth prevail, or would the weight of public opinion crush them both? The room fell silent as Arjun delivered his closing statement, leaving everyone, including Maya, on edge. And then, just as attention reached its breaking point, a twist no one saw coming changed everything. A figure entered the room, carrying documents that promised to either vindicate Arjun or seal his fate. Who was this person, and what secrets did they hold? With stakes higher than ever, the story teetered on the brink of resolution or chaos. The figure who entered the room was none other than Meera, Arjun's former assistant, the same woman whose allegations had fueled the latest wave of scandal. Her sudden appearance sent a ripple of shock through the room, and all eyes turned to her as she handed over a sealed envelope to the board chairman. Maya's heart sank. She braced herself for the worst, convinced that this would be the final blow to everything they'd worked so hard to protect. But instead of condemnation, Meera spoke with clarity and conviction. "I made a mistake," she admitted, her voice steady despite the tension in the air. She revealed that her accusations against Arjun were fabricated under pressure from a rival company seeking to dismantle his empire. The documents she brought contained evidence proving not only her coercion but also the rival firm's malicious intent. For a moment, silence gripped the room. Then, slowly, murmurs of disbelief gave way to murmurs of relief. The board members exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from suspicion to cautious reassurance. Arjun stood frozen, his mind struggling to process what had just unfolded. Maya, however, felt a surge of hope. She stepped forward instinctively, her presence grounding him as he finally found his voice. "This doesn't change who I am or how I've run this company," Arjun said firmly, addressing the board. "But it does prove one thing, that integrity matters more than power." His words resonated deeply, earning nods of agreement even from those who had doubted him earlier. With the immediate crisis averted, the focus shifted to rebuilding trust not just within the company but also in the public eye. Maya played a crucial role in this effort, spearheading a campaign to humanize Arjun's image while advocating for transparency in corporate practices. Together, they launched initiatives aimed at supporting underprivileged communities, including Maya's village. It was her idea to create scholarships for young women facing adversity, ensuring that others like her wouldn't have to fight alone. Watching these projects take shape filled Maya with pride, but it also deepened her connection with Arjun. Their shared mission became a testament to their growth not just as individuals but as partners in every sense of the word. As weeks passed, the media storm subsided, replaced by stories of resilience and redemption. Arjun's reputation recovered, bolstered by the genuine impact of their work. Yet, amidst the accolades and recognition, the most profound transformation occurred within themselves. One evening, as they sat together on the terrace overlooking the city lights, Arjun broke the comfortable silence between them. "Do you remember when I first came to your village?" he asked, his tone softer than usual. Maya nodded, smiling faintly at the memory. "You changed my life that day," he continued. "Not because you needed saving but because you reminded me of what it means to truly live." Tears welled up in Maya's eyes as she realized the depth of his feelings. For so long, she'd questioned whether someone like Arjun could ever see her as an equal. But now, looking into his eyes, she saw something far greater: respect, admiration, and love. In that moment, Arjun took her hand and asked the question neither of them had dared to voice until now. "Maya, will you marry me?" he said simply. No grand gestures or elaborate speeches, just raw honesty. Overwhelmed, Maya could only nod, her heart swelling with emotion. Their wedding was a quiet affair, held in the same village where Maya had once faced judgment and rejection. This time, however, the villagers gathered not to criticize but to celebrate. They marveled at how far Maya had come from a girl shunned by society to a woman standing beside one of the most powerful men in the country. Arjun too had transformed, shedding the cold exterior that once defined him to embrace vulnerability and compassion. Their union symbolized more than just love. It represented the triumph of perseverance over prejudice, of trust over doubt. In the years that followed, Maya and Arjun continued to challenge societal norms, using their platform to inspire change. Their story became a beacon of hope for countless others navigating similar struggles. Through it all, they remained anchored by the bond they'd forged, a bond built on mutual respect, unwavering support, and the belief that love can conquer even the greatest odds. As the camera pans out, showing Maya cradling their newborn child while Arjun looks on with unmistakable pride, the audience is left with a powerful takeaway. Life may throw obstacles our way, but it's the choices we make and the people we choose to stand beside that define us. Maya and Arjun's journey reminds us that love isn't about perfection. It's about finding strength in imperfection and building something beautiful together. And with that, their story comes full circle, leaving viewers inspired and hopeful for what lies ahead.